Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the stream. Hope all of you are having a good day today. I woke up late this morning. I woke up originally at 9 o'clock because the alarm goes, oh, it's snooze a bit. Then I did not get up until like 11:40. Scrambled to choke down a quick breakfast. Got in only a 10-minute workout today. I still kept the streak, but it's like I couldn't do the full, even a 20-minute workout this morning. Worked. At least the work was a full shift, and now we're here. We're going to be playing Persona 4 Arena, considering continuing the Persona-ness here on this channel. Work was kind of interesting as it was getting some insight into the congressional race across the river in Pennsylvania between Susan Wild and Lisa Scheller, and I can safely say this: while Wild is a bit too much of a, Wild has her issues, but anybody that votes for Lisa Scheller in Pennsylvania to go to U.S. Congress over Susan Wild, you're a fucking idiot because Schellner's own history with running a corporation that does aluminium manufacturing in Pennsylvania, and that has gone out of their way to basically move to eliminate 60% of its American workforce, is not someone you would want in Congress. Lisa Schellner does not have the good what's what I'm looking for. Lisa Schellner does not have the interests of the average American at heart. I mean, the way she has run her company basically has made Carbon County one of the highest unemployment counties in the state of Pennsylvania. An anonymous cheerer cheering anonymously. Thank you very much here. And I start off on unusual for me, a political rant, but considering my day job, and I spoke to enough people in the state of Pennsylvania this afternoon to kind of get an idea of what's going on over there with two of the folks running for Congress. But thank you very much for the anonymous cheering. Always appreciate. Hopefully you are having a good day today, wherever you are in the world. And yes, we got more Persona 4, more Persona this week after finishing up Persona 5 Royale last night. I am very much looking forward to playing Persona 5 Royale again next year on the Xbox side. Whoa, another 100 biddies from an anonymous cheerer. Thank you very much. I do not have a hat, so I shall bow to you. If I had a hat, I would take it off, but I do not have a hat nearby. I would put the hat on and take it off, but I do not have one in arm's length. And again, if one was just to go by where the armrest of this chair is, it would appear I have short arms. So anyway, I have kind of figured out what we're going to be doing on stream the rest of the week. Obviously, we got Fallout 76 tomorrow, Final Fantasy 14 on Thursday. Saturday night, it will be kind of randomist because I do want to play Fall Guys. That was something that I definitely want to check out since this is gone free to play. I am looking forward to messing around with that on Saturday stream. And I'm still not sure if I'm going to start up Persona 5 Strikers right away or if I'm going to start up Dragon's Dogma on Friday. One or the other. If I go into Strike, the thing that it's like Dragon's Dogma is like, okay, it's considered a great game. Problem is, Capcom, when it comes to games outside of the fighting genre with Capcom, I'm generally not always too thrilled with the end results. I mean, the last time I have actually devoted any serious time to a non-fighting Capcom game would have to have been Resident Evil Code Veronica X on the PlayStation 2. I mean, there is just something that does not really strike my fancy with Capcom games outside of the fighting game genre. I don't know what it is. There's something about the way they do things that just kind of rubs me the wrong way. And I'm a short, fat guy. There's not many ways you can rub me wrong, but yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I meant that. Phrasing! I will shut up now. Oh, I still had this up from last night. Of course, we're going to be going through the story mode of Persona 4 Arena. Because with this game, I actually have a way where I can actually fully count this on the tour. Just go through the story mode with every character, get the achievements for them, and then go through the arcade mode with every single character. Cantaloupe, for those wondering. And of course, we did Yukio's story arc last week. It's like the badass walks. The great thing about Persona 4 Arena, it does establish that things take place within the same continuity, particularly between Personas 3 and 4. The mode of stories.
Welcome to the Velvet Room. This place exists between dream and reality, mind and matter. Now then, why don't you introduce yourself?
Alright. We're gonna save you, Narukami, for the end.
The persona ability is the power to control one's own heart, and the heart is strengthened through bonds. As you form bonds by becoming involved with others, your own social links will gradually develop. The power of these social links is what will determine your persona's abilities.
So Mitsuru Kojiro looks like it is straightforward, no joke endings.
Very well.
So we can just go through the story straight away here. Late November in the year 2010. Wow, that was 12 years ago.
Hey, what happened?
I don't know what happened. Wait, all right. He looked around. He saw one spot in the darkness where something was giving off an eerie glow, as if painting in an incandescent light. Once his eyes began to adjust to the darkness, he was faintly able to make out the area around that light. The shining spot was revealed as a small, strangely decorated box that the man had only just delivered to the forensic unit.
Forensics team! What the hell is...
called out, still squinting at the shadow of a person he could see at the window before him. But as the shape resolved, he saw that it was not a person shadow at all. He had no words to describe it. At first glance, it seemed to be a coffin. Indeed, that is what it was shaped like. But he had never seen a coffin standing upright tall as an adult, shining like a dark crystal. Yet that was clearly what the crystalline mass was squatting in the spot where a window clerk normally stood. And upon closer examination, it wasn't the only one. At desk in front of the evidence shelf, next to the reference computer, the objects towered everywhere as if they had taken the place of humans.
What are these?
A chill ran down the man's spine. There are people, was the thought that instinctively came to mind. Was this the reason he couldn't hear anyone else's voice? Was it because everyone but him was...
What's going on?
Once the fear had set in, it wasn't easy to shake off. His familiar office was starting to look like a grotesque netherworld. He felt quite sure that he had to get out. Quickly, he turned and grabbed the knob to the door through which he had just entered. But...
What the?
it didn't budge. It wasn't that the door was locked, preventing the knob from turning the latch. The knob was completely frozen in place.
Is anyone here? Hey, let me out!
The man slammed his fist against the door, yelling in desperation. But the sensation he felt when his fist impacted the surface wasn't that of hitting a door. It felt completely at odds with what he saw, as if a picture of a door had been drawn onto a solid wall. It was then that the man noticed that another light similar in color to that emanating from the box could be seen on part of his hand as he swung it forward. It was a ring, and suddenly he remembered. When he brought in the small box, he found several bizarre ring-shaped objects within it. While handling it over to forensics, he suspected that they might be rings. To check the theory, he put one on, and now that ring was emitting the same eerie light as the box. Though he still had no idea what was going on, it was immediately apparent that it was directly related to the current situation. The man grabbed the ring with wet, slick fingers and tugged, ready to pull off his own finger if necessary. But just at that
I
moment...
wouldn't take that off right now.
What?
The man couldn't help but gasp. He looked around, but could sense no one inside the room with him. Where had the voice come from?
I'll be there to rescue you shortly. Calm yourself and wait there.
The man calmed himself. He realized that it wasn't a voice. The sensation was indescribable, but it was distinctly unlike hearing with one's ears.
Who's there?
Oh, pardon me. This is Mitsuru Kirijo. We met earlier.
Kirijo. He did know a Kirijo. It was she who brought the strange small box. And that wasn't all he knew. The Kirijos were a wicked family who used their fortune and influence as a shield, continuing to frustrate the police. Despite that, the man couldn't help but feel relief wash over him. Perhaps he might survive this after all.
Oh, well, I appreciate the help. Just hurry.
After getting the muttered words out, he sank to the floor, the door at his back. Mitsuru Kirijo, if he recalled correctly, was the eldest daughter of the Kirijo group's founding family. He noted that her voice had been far calmer than his despite the situation they were both in. He sensed a measure of trustworthiness from her. And to think, it had been merely an hour ago that he was asking himself why such a young girl had been chosen as the head of the Kirijo group at all. The digital clock on the corner of the desk quietly announced the arrival at 10 in the morning. Normally, most of the staff would be out and about by now, but the entire police department was in turmoil today. It was only to be expected with a key figure from the Kirijo group visiting on unusual business.
Kirijo, huh?
The Kirijo group was a major trading firm synonymous with Japan. They had links to all areas of business, not a day could go by in the city without hearing their name. The clock that had struck 10 before the logo of the Kujiro Electronics and KJ was the center of the cell phone provided to every member of the police. A few days ago, the same Kujiro group had made a seemingly insane proposal. The document was hundreds of pages, but a brief summary would read, "We wish to collaborate with the police on an official department for eliminating
Well,
monsters."
it does happen from time to time. Famous businessmen end up advocating cultish nonsense in pursuit of their ambitions.
Yeah, upon consideration, it was decided that the Kujiro group should be invited in to give their pitch. Of course, there was no intention of spending tax money on the outlandish proposal. The police interest in humoring the Kujiro group lay elsewhere. The Kujiro group had offered an incentive whereby if the police agreed to the meeting, they will provide a detailed list of the Aeronomics Research Lab's artifacts, as well as actual samples. It was this that drove the officials' decision, for there have been dark rumors bandied about the Kujiro group over the last 10 years. While still a family-run business, some said that the old man Koteo Kujiro has delved into paranormal research and was performing inhuman experiments. The police collected enough evidence to test the rumor and had prepared many times to force an investigation, but every time the investigation came to nothing due to the group exerting hidden pressure, frustrating those working on the case to no end. The investigators' prime target was the infamous Ergo Research, the Kujiro Ergonomics Research Lab. Exposure into Kujiro Group's dark side had been a dream of public safety for 10 years now. And now Kujiro seemed willing to hand over Ergo's research tightly guarded secrets on a silver platter. No one knew the reason for this sudden about-face, but neither did anyone think of turning them down. They agreed to the summit not to hear out whatever proposal Kujiro was offering, but as a stepping stone towards unearthing their past crimes. Time passed, and the agreed upon time in the afternoon came. The man was tasked with watching over and bringing in the artifacts from the Kujiro group. Though he would not speak with the guests, the police plans afforded him a major responsibility that gave him something like a leading role. It wasn't long before the Kujiro cab arrived in the underground Porta Cochet. The staff there to receive the guests only shrugged at the long black limousine that would have turned heads on the main roads. One of the youngest recruits looked towards the man and asked a question.
Chief, what's with that car?
But that was the least of the surprises in store. When the Kujiro group representative stepped outside of the limousine, she was sworn to be a beautiful young woman no older than a university student. Not only that, but she had attendants dressed in what could only be described as maid uniforms. All of them were young women roughly her age. The scene mesmerized the various dignitaries present to greet her.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I am Mitsuru Kirijo, representing the Kirijo Group. It's nice to meet you.
Her brisk greeting radiated poise. From there, she shook hands with the assembled dignitaries in a manner that showed she was no stranger to social gatherings.
She's the company rep? Really?
Really? The young recruit, who was sneaking looks out of the corner of his eye, muttered in spite of
Their
himself.
proposal said the rep who's coming today would be the leader of this new unit, but I thought it was supposed to be some hardcore armed response team, and she's leading it? Well, I guess it's better than some meathead.
Shut up and hold your position.
Position being held, but in truth the man felt the same way. Certainly this monster extermination unit would never be incorporated, but even if it were, he was sure this wisp of a girl could never do such work. Eventually the dignitaries entered the agency along with Miss Kirijo. All of them wore lopsided smiles due to the young beauty's unexpected appearance, but that would do for now. The dignitaries were only there to receive her. The true objective was loaded in the truck parked behind the limousine. The documents and artifacts of Ergo Research.
All right, start bringing them in.
Roger, sir.
At the man's signal, his trained subordinates surrounded the Kirijo truck. They formed a line, smoothly passing boxes from man to man into the building. The articles were of various sizes, with even a few that came in oversized metallic containers for aerial transport. The Kirijo group had warned them not to handle these things carelessly until explanation were forthcoming. But in truth, the department was already prepared to begin a forensic investigation of the objects or even send them to the lab.
Are you sure it's okay for us to open these? The instructions said not to.
It won't be a real investigation if we let them hamstring our procedures. Besides, I can't think of anything they could send us that we couldn't handle. Unless there's real monsters inside these things.
And it was the article, and it was at that moment he realized that he fucked up. The man himself received the last item about the size of a jewelry box and checked it. Okay, that done, he turned and walked quickly towards the forensics room. Try through he might maintain composure. He couldn't contain the excitement he felt. For 10 years, the darkness of the Kirijo group had been a frustrating legend, like mist between the department's fingers. The chance to investigate and expose them was here at last. If even the slightest evidence matched the DNA of those who had gone missing or the victims of the unsolved cases, victory would be theirs. The man tried to tamp down his exhilaration and took another look at the small box he held. There was no upper lid on the box. A pedestal-like protrusion at its center had a number of small circular trinkets. The usage was completely unknown. What kind of research produced these? Just as the man was about to hand the box to the window clerk, he saw a wedding ring in the clerk's finger and came to a realization.
Are these rings?
We're not sure yet.
The man put on some protective latex gloves and tried one of the objects on. After looking at it from every angle, its color and shape seemed to be nothing but ordinary. If it was meant to be jewelry, it wasn't very attractive. The man couldn't picture scientists in a lab coat slaving away in a lab to create rings like these. The moment that unlikely possibility came to mind, the man felt somewhat embarrassed by his ignorance of fashion and accessories. But as soon as his research, he reached for the small box and put the ring back inside, darkness suddenly fell.
Please step away from the door.
The voice echoing in the man's mind brought him back to reality. He took a few steps away from the door as directed and stood ready. Step away from the door. The more he thought about it, the stranger the order seemed. How did she know he was so close to the door when she wasn't even in the room? Suddenly, a chill filled the area. In mere seconds, the entire door was coated in white.
Where'd this ice come from?
It had frosted over. The man couldn't believe his eyes, but the evidence was there in front of him. He could then hear a slight knocking sound, followed by a crack forming in the center. The door buckled under its own weight and crumbled with a sound that was like a building blocks being pushed over. Standing just past it was the Kirijo woman. She walked over to the man with exquisite nonchalance. At her side was one of the maids she brought.
Are you all right?
Yeah.
We did give you fair warning, but it seems to have gone unheeded.
The man looked towards the ring shining on his finger.
Then this happened because we touched that box? What is this thing?
That ring gives its bearer an unstable form of pseudo-potential and allows anyone to experience the Dark Hour.
The Dark Hour?
The Dark Hour.
The box itself seems to be a failed recreation of the Dark Hour. The effect radius is small, and it malfunctions when improperly handled.
The Dark Hour. He remembered that phrase coming up in the documents the Kirijo group had sent. If he recalled correctly, it was defined as a hidden time unable to be experienced by normal people, where everything stood still. According to the documents, it seems to have occurred every night at midnight for about 10 years until spring 2011, as if forcing its way into normal time. Until now, it seemed like pure fantasy. But could this silent darkness be the very same thing?
So you're saying those stories in that document, that occult-sounding stuff was actually for real?
For real? At that moment, a voice suddenly echoed from beyond the hallway past the broken door.
Who's there?
The man reflexively called out in alarm, realizing that the fear had not yet died down. What emerged from the darkness was the young recruit who had greeted the guests earlier and had been helping with bringing in the artifacts. The young man was staggering as if severely drunk.
Chief!
Hey, are you alright?
The man began to rush to his side, but the Kidro woman silently stopped him. She stood between the two as if protecting the man.
What? He's my...
Before he could finish, a surprising change overtook the recruit. The recruit fell to the ground with an agonizing scream. A black tar-like substance began flowing from every orifice. The ooze spread unnaturally across the ground and cowered into a glob. It rose up like a beast, raising its head, and what looked like claws began to form. Its appearance showed clear signs that it possessed some malevolent will. The man thought again about the Kujiro group's initial proposal. We wish to collaborate with the police on an unofficial department for eliminating monsters. Without a doubt, this was what they were referred to. The name that came up again and again was...
This is a shadow.
That it is. It's a monster that dwells in every person's heart. They usually can't manifest themselves this way, but it's quite common to see it happen during the dark hour.
So the research to make this happen artificially. That's what Kirijo has been experimenting with.
That did seem to be the extent of it. At the start.
At the start, the man couldn't prevent himself from shuddering to imagine the implications of her statement. With the second roar, the half-liquefied shadow suddenly took the form of some fell beast. But where the face should have been was nothing but a mask, giving it a bizarre appearance of two creatures stitched together. The young woman, for her part, seemed not in the least perturbed.
Kikuno, my things, please.
The maid stopped to reach something. The man wasn't sure where she had been carrying it, but she placed the sword in her master's hand. The blade was specially shaped, similar in design to a fencing saber.
Going to fight it?
Stay back. This will all be over soon.
At that moment, as if understanding their conversation, the shadow squared itself and leapt towards the young woman. Its speed matched its beastly appearance. In the darkness of the room, the man found it difficult simply to keeping his eyes on it. The young woman did not move. Her sword remained lowered in the face of the shadow's advance. Of course, thought the man, an amateur like her could never react in time. However...
Artemisia!
At a word from the young woman, some unseen force slammed into the shadow against the wall. The man momentarily doubted his own eyes, for it had not been the woman who repelled the monster, but a silhouette that suddenly appeared behind her. It looked as though the being enveloped it in sublime light, contrasting the shadow's dark glow, was a woman wearing a majestic dress. Its silhouette held up a hand towards the crouching shadow. Once again, the man felt freezing air fill the room. And with that, the shadow stopped moving. Frost crystallized all over it, turning it into an ice sculpture within seconds. Only then did the young woman swing the sword in her hand for the first time. A white gleam arced through the air. Upon impact, the frozen enemy shattered like it had been crystallized sugar rather than ice. The victory was so one-sided that the man hesitated to call it a battle.
Are you all right?
The young woman turned towards the man. The sound of her boots hitting the floor gave him the jarring realization that she hadn't moved a single step during the fray. Seeing that he was at a loss for words, she gave him a gentle smile. It was all too much for the man. He actually felt relieved to be protected by the small woman. One thing was obvious. She had been through countless battles, much like this, the one he had just witnessed.
Your fallen employee's life is in no danger, but he'll be very weak. Make sure he gets to a hospital. Should I make the arrangements?
No, I should at least handle that. It is a public security matter.
With a nod, the young woman approached the small box and manipulated it in a way he couldn't quite catch. The eerie yellow-green light began to fade. Moments later, the silence and darkness faded. The world had been restored. The man felt his body become suddenly lighter, causing him to breathe a sigh of relief. He hadn't realized until the pressure was gone that the air had been as suffocating as as if he had been underwater. There was a stir of movement in the air. The forensics team and assistants looked at the man and young woman, perplexed. The man took a quick look around. Fragments of the shattered door were strewn about. A young public security worker was lying unconscious nearby, and the Kidro guest who had entered without anyone noticing held in her hand a drawn
I'd be
sword.
shocked too if I were them.
It occurred to him that if normal people couldn't sense the dark hour, the sudden change in circumstances may have seemed to them like some magic
Excuse me,
trick.
but this place is off limits to all unauthorized personnel. Hey, what's going on here?
The forensic staff looked at the man helplessly.
It's all right. We had a little emergency.
Oh.
Yes.
That
Oh.
aside, halt all examination of the relics they brought in. We'll wait for further instructions from the Kirijo group.
Huh? But you said...
I know what
If there are
it's.
any boxes that are closed, don't force them open. Not if you don't want to come face to face with monsters.
Leaving the frowning forensics team behind him, the man quickly went into the hallway with the Kirijo woman.
I have to thank you for your help. And about the conference, I'll join in as well. It's been arranged so nothing you say would get through to the higher-ups.
The young woman was surprised at what amounted to a confession of betrayal. She didn't show it.
Are you saying you will reconsider your plans?
I can't overlook anything as serious as this. I wouldn't be doing my job as public security if I did. But make no mistake, the things I saw today are proof of the sins the Kirijo group has committed. They can't be punished under the law, but now that they're known, atonement will be made in some shape or form.
Indeed. I never intended anything less.
You really put one over on us this time. Oh, there's no need to be coy. What happened today was no accident, was it? We'd never have believed the reports unless we saw it in person. That's why such a dangerous box had no lid. Am I wrong?
There was no lid. That's not possible. That box was classified as risk level 3. It should have been securely fastened.
The young woman fell silent and gasped and gave the maid walking silently beside her a look.
Kikuno.
The maid continued without the slightest sign of remorse and left her master behind. Both the man and the young woman sighed at once.
Us guys in public security have a reputation for being tough. But it seems like you guys are no slouches yourselves.
The summit that was meant to be a perfunctory refusal took an unexpected turn. Promises were made to continue the talks. 6 months passed. After many opportunities to show the actual samples to the dignitaries were set up, the proposed special unit was established in mostly the form Kidro requested. The Security Department Shadows Response Unit. It was the inauguration of the special unit that would in time be nicknamed the Shadow Operatives. Indeed, the Shadow Operatives. I'm quite fond of that name. Not that I normally pay much heed to these things, but in this case I admit to being pleased. It started as sarcasm on the part of the higher ranked personnel from the police. It could be taken to mean those who deal with shadows, but the real meaning is those who operate in the shadows. Not only is the unit unofficial, we have the difficult to create a job of exterminating monsters. Mostly, I suspect it was a dig at the group that disturbed the expected peaceful years before the older personnel's retirement. But Shadow Operative could also mean one who does an indispensable, albeit unrewarded job for society. It's a name truly befitting of the organization's goals, We are approaching the first anniversary of the Shadow Operatives establishment. Though we still at the level of basic investigation and laying groundwork, it seems a full-scale case has arisen.
Fighting is not our first option, but I'd be more reassured with you there. We have a general idea of where it was taken, the Inaba area, where there were reports of suspected shadow activity last year.
Good, as it is to hear from an old reliable friend, I limit the call to a quick exchange of
I'll
information.
send you the precise location later. Sorry to call when you've just returned from a trip, but I'm relying on your assistance.
I close my cell phone and turn towards my
He's only
colleague.
just returned and he's going directly to the location from the airport. Akihiko never changes.
The man I was on the phone with just now was Akihiko Sanada. He's one of our non-permanent staff. Akihiko is an excellent Persona user, but beyond that, he's a skilled boxer. He's a friend of mine from high school who fought the shadows alongside me. I admire his strict determination to never neglect his training, but the extreme lengths he goes to can be rather inconvenient. After entering college, he accepted my invitation to be one of the founding Shadow Operatives, but it was his actions afterward that went above and beyond. Sure, I'll join, but if I'm going to use my strength professionally, I want to get my skills to a level I'm happy with first. Let's begin his training expedition. He's not only wandering the country, he's traveling the entire world. I can't decide whether to be dumbfounded or impressed by his dedication to training. All of this is to say that he only just returned to Japan to take part in this operation. I gave a wry smile and leaned back in my chair. Seeing me relax, the girl watching nearby smiles. This is Aegis, known for her blonde hair and piercing blue eyes. She's a sweet girl on the outside, but she has what it takes to be an important member of our squad.
Will we be able to find Labris? My sister?
Hmm?
When I look over at Aegis, her eyes are cast downward with a worried expression.
Will we be able to save her? Isn't that what you really want to ask?
She must know once I called Akihiko in as backup, there is a possibility that we will have to fight Labris, knowing that it's not a great leap to imagine that in the worst case scenario she may have to be destroyed. And it's true, alas. If all else fails and our safety is at risk with no other way to stop her, the option is on the table. Still,
Don't worry. As I mentioned to Akihiko, fighting Labris is not our priority. The reason I formed this Shadow Operative team is to save lives. We will find her, whatever it takes, and bring her back. We can do this.
Yes. I'm sorry to be so pessimistic.
Those feelings you have for Labris, you should tell her when you see her.
I will.
she did. We saw that last week. The monitor is showing certain data that is under multiple redundant encryptions. Kitro Aeronautics Research Lab confidential matters. There is, in fact, a reason I'm reviewing these materials that are normally securely concealed. For 2 days ago, on May 1st, I was unexpectedly dragged into a serious incident. The passenger plane I was taken to Kagoshima was hijacked when there hadn't been a domestic hijacking for 10 years. The top brass of the police, afraid to make any mistakes, sent in the Shadow Operatives. The case itself was resolved quickly and all the culprits arrested. None of the passengers were harmed either. But the hijackers' true motive wasn't terrorism or political demands, as one would expect. I was surprised to find that they were really after my cargo. It was a sealed box from the Aeronautics Research Lab that we were transporting to Yakushima on that flight. No one thought that the risky hijacking could have been in pursuit of just a cargo, and as a result, one of the objects was stolen. The arrested suspects are all in police custody, but none of them have been any memory of carrying out the crime. Someone was pulling their strings, very probably using uncommon methods. Considering the puppet master was targeting shadow-related cargo, I doubt they'll be easy to deal with. As for what was stolen, I just mentioned its name a moment ago. The 5th generation anti-shadow suppression weapon Labris is an older model from 2 generations ago. Since shadow-related ergo research documents were lost in an accident, we know little about Labris. She is an android, most likely a female version, just like Aegis. But Instead of a weapon loadout, she seems to have been fitted with some kind of experimental equipment. That's all we know. Still, thanks to our collaborators' quick wit, the escaping vehicle was traced with the end system. It wasn't easy, but we managed to pinpoint its location. It was headed for the city of Inaba, where there may have been shadow activity last year. Once the preparations to depart are complete, I'll head there myself. My mind wanders a bit. Though I was unaware of them, the shadow of the sins committed in the Kirajiro name is still so painful 10 years on that I sometimes want to avert my eyes. But now is not the time to be bound by the past. Now is the time to act. I suddenly notice that Aigis had been staring at me worriedly. I give her a smile and stand up decisively. We're pulling up to Yasho Inaba, the central town of Inaba. Though it's a central town, the main street seems nearly deserted. There's virtually no activity to be seen through the car windows. It was confirmed that the vehicle transporting Labrys was abandoned here. Our first move will be to confirm the situation. Or so I thought. I attempt to ignore the rude stares of people trying to get a look inside the car, focusing instead on the scent of my tea. People keep crowding around when we park. We've had to move it a number of times already. We didn't get a moment's peace until the car had reached the junkyard on the outskirts of town. As I try to keep from sighing, Aigis speaks up from her seat in front of me.
Mitsuru-san, our activities are supposed to be undercover, correct?
Yes.
For undercover missions, it will be necessary to keep all personnel and vehicles from being noticed.
Right.
Yep.
Mitsuru-san, may I say something that I've been meaning to say for a while now?
No.
Understood.
Aigis' poker face is a perfect blank, though I understand what she's getting at. I've actually wanted to say something along those lines to those around me for a while. Still, it would be galling to hear it from someone else just now.
All I told them was to give us a car with enough space.
Our contact has arrived.
The man approaching us is someone whose cooperation I specifically requested. His name is Detective Kurosawa. Before I can welcome him, Aigis speaks up.
Oh my. This was not our designated meeting area, yet he has discovered us.
You want to know how I did it?
Lately, it feels that whenever Aigis wants to voice her opinion to me, she intentionally puts on the robot act. They mentioned this at the lab, that if Aigis still speaks in that stiff, formal manner, either she's getting too human and is developing habits, or she's doing it on purpose. Honestly.
We appreciate your cooperation, Detective Kurosawa.
Long time no see, miss. And Aigis, was it?
Indeed. It has been a while.
Detective Kurosawa was an officer at the police box near the school we attended 3 years ago. He was shunned for cooperating with us and busted back down to officer, but now the shadow operatives are officially recognized, he's in their good graces again. A man who can be trusted beyond the confines of his station to solve a case, even going so far as to bend the rules. He's a rare breed. Detective Kurosawa's expression has softened while he makes small talk with Aigis, which makes me realize that this may be the first time he's seen Aigis in her combat form.
I shouldn't make you stand while we talk. Please, get in.
Sorry. I haven't seen you in a while, so I had a lot to say.
You must understand that we are trying to go incognito. So it's kind of him not to point out that our vehicle and attire are completely unsuited to the goal. As he enters the limousine, he sits and does not even wait until the door is closed before getting to the point.
I found out quite a bit regarding the case you had me look into. First, I reviewed the report on the incidents from last year. One of the suspects mentioned the word persona.
So what went on here last year?
It's probably related, but I wasn't done there. Parts of this guy's testimony were even more outlandish.
How outlandish?
If you can take what's in the record at face value,
It seems Persona users can enter TVs within the Inaba region.
Enter TVs? What does that mean?
They can enter the
Just what
TV.
it sounds like. You physically stick your body into the screen and go inside. He claimed there was another world in the TV, and dropping people inside it was the method behind last year's murders.
This all sounds rather absurd. I'm surprised it was included in the police report.
I got in touch with the detective in charge at the time and said the same thing. Apparently, the report was filed by a young partner of his at the time. He'd entertained the wildest testimonies like this one.
He sounds like quite the oddball.
If this was what really went on, the police would have had no chance cracking it. But that Detective Dojima is one shrewd guy. Even with all the supernatural hocus-pocus surrounding the case, he caught the culprit.
With the help of some meddling kids. When I asked if film was to collect information about the serial murders that occurred in Inaba last year, the shadow operatives aren't public knowledge, so I thought local police would be more willing to speak with him, but the results surpassed my expectations. Though it is slightly frustrating to already run up against something I'm powerless to achieve myself.
That's all I have for you right now. I should be going. I doubt either of us has time to reminisce over the old days. It's funny though. I thought the fighting was over, but you guys surprise me every time I see you.
Thank you very much, Officer Kurosawa. Why don't we at least see you off?
Oh, that's all right. I've got my own car. I doubt my department would appreciate your tastes. If I ever showed up for work in something like this, I'd be the talk of the force until the day I retired.
Detective Kurosawa joked with us before exiting the limousine, waving casually back at us. I had nothing to say to that as I watched him leave, rotating his shoulders to work out some kinks. Aigis, though, felt the need to comment.
Mitsuru-san, this could be bad. Our sense of social aptitude is in question.
Can't deny that.
What should we do now?
Yes. First, we'll need to test the claim that Persona users can enter TVs.
We are at a junkyard after all, and I can see a number of consumer electronics that have been discarded illegally. Aigis looks around and points at a certain pile as she gets out of the car.
There is a discarded TV over there. If the environment does not matter, we can use it to test the phenomenon.
Wait, Aigis.
Don't worry. I'm just going to touch it.
That's not what I was worried about. Aigis isn't wearing anything like a disguise, and... No, I'm overthinking this. We've already attracted enough attention. Even if we leave now without doing anything, our pictures could still end up on the internet. Let them gossip about the strange people in the funny clothes. It'll become some urban legend. A mind made up, I stepped outside wearing my special thing. Whoops. An anonymous cheerer cheering anonymously. Words are hard. Thank you for the 200 biddies. Much appreciated. Her hand is inside the TV screen, but the screen itself seems undamaged. Aigis' hand is swallowed up to the wrist as if she put it into some bucket of water.
It's exactly as the police report said. What's it like inside? Do you feel anything?
Not particularly. No, wait a moment. It's the same as mine. It's hard to say definitively since this is my first encounter with it, but I believe this reading is from a personality module.
Does that mean our retrieval target is inside the TV?
Huh. Sounds like fun.
That voice from above. It sounds very familiar. All I see in the direction from where it came from is a man in an outlandish red cape. I hesitate for a moment. Could it be?
Is that Akihiko?
The man leaps from the stacked tower of TVs like an acrobat.
You didn't show up at the rendezvous point, so I went looking and found you here. This whole TV thing is pretty interesting.
In spite of myself, I bury my face in my palm.
Akihiko, what on earth are you wearing? Just what were you doing overseas?
Didn't I tell you that I was on a training expedition?
Don't tell me you came here from the airport like that. Does the concept of keeping a low profile mean nothing to you?
Mitsuru-san, I believe we have lost the right to complain about that.
That's it. I'm never mentioning the subject of our appearance again.
Anyway, we can go inside from that TV, right? What are we waiting for?
Still the same Akihiko. We don't know the situation inside yet, and we'll need a secure means of getting out.
So what? If we want to get this Labrys back, someone has to go inside, right?
Well, that's...
Our target hijacked a plane to throw her into a TV in this town. If we sit on our hands, it's possible we'll be put in serious danger.
If you sit on your hands will go numb. Akihiko's right. That's exactly why we've been trying to act as quickly as possible since the case began.
We're different from how we used to be. We made the choice to fight shadows as professionals. That's why I traveled around the world and trained harder than ever. And now that something's actually come up, you're hesitating? We agreed to do this. I'm ready to stake my life on the mission.
Reckless, unafraid to state his opinion, classic Akihiko. He must understand that that is his role. Certainly there are times when I need such opinions, and it's been a while since he went abroad. I think I can understand his current mindset.
All right. Wait right here. I need to go make a phone call first.
Okay, but make it quick.
Doesn't have to tell me twice. I take out my phone and bring up the contact list. A world inside a TV, I don't know what it might be like in there, but I do know someone that could help us. I was originally going to ask their help after Labrys was secure, but perhaps the time has come. Now I've taken all possible precautions. The rest is a test of our resolve.
The other members will wait here in the car.
Yeah. If we all barge in and something happens, they'll be devastated.
Now that you mention it, at least one of us should be staying behind as well.
I am not staying.
Well, she made that clear.
Us three will be plenty. We'll end this in a flash. No problem.
The same as always. Although, we have no idea what might be waiting for us on the other side.
Things and stuff.
Right.
This situation, it brings back memories.
But does it bring forward memories? I know what I said. Whoa!
What's going on?
I still can't believe I thought that was a dude.
Where am I? Is this inside the TV?
I remember being enveloped in a white light, but what came afterwards is unclear. Is this the world inside the TV? Oddly enough, the sight before me seems to be the main gate of a school. The name engraved on the entrance plate is
Yasagami High School. I do recall that name from our map of Inaba. An existing high school has been completely recreated inside the TV?
I then came to a realization. I've encountered something much like this before. It doesn't appear to be much different from the reality as far as the appearance is, But it has that the same distinctiveness, same sticky atmosphere. The Labyrinth Tartarus that was our battleground 3 years ago. It bears a lot of similarity to this
Wait.
place.
Where are the others? Akihiko! Aigis!
Being separated won't do anything to further our mission. Perhaps I can use my communication powers to get in touch with them.
I can't reach them through my persona either. This place is highly unusual.
It's still barely functioning, but the noise here is severe. I'll need to understand this world a little better and find a quiet place to concentrate. As I check my surroundings again for any enemies, I hear that sound of footsteps. I tense, making myself ready for anything. When I turn around, a uniformed girl stops looking at me in bewilderment.
Huh?
I didn't expect to meet someone else here, let alone a seemingly ordinary schoolgirl like this. Could her age and outfit belay a connection to the thief of Labyrinth? But after the girl's surprise faded, she still seemed confused by my appearance. It seems that even here in another dimension, people are startled by my attire. At least her reaction allayed my suspicions. People reveal something of themselves when they're caught off guard. Anyone in the act of committing a crime couldn't fake being perplexed so naturally.
Did I surprise you? I suppose my outfit is somewhat unusual.
Oh, no.
Why are you here?
Well,
A loud cheer suddenly swells, cutting off our conversation. There's definitely a crowd present here. I look around in the area in confusion.
What? Where is that coming from?
Students appear one after another, clearly intrigued to see us here.
Huh? What's going on?
Before I can react, an image appears on the monitors buried beneath the bizarre decorations.
Hello! Hello! This is General Teddy, your benevolent dictator!
He puts the dick in dictator.
I'm your commentator. It's time for the next round in the P1 Grand Prix. Are you ready to fight?
P1 Grand Prix? Fight?
Suddenly, on the one in the ridiculous queue, a spotlight shines from somewhere directly upon me.
Ugh.
I instinctively raise my arms to shield my eyes from the harsh light. It feels like I'm being displayed for an audience.
And who do we have for Yuki-chan's opponent this time? Ooh! It's a mysterious, beautiful lady! How unexpected!
Remix?
Teddy, what's wrong?
Do you know that bear?
The monitor showing the one in costume calling himself General Teddy suddenly fuzzes over with static. The static gets worse and worse until an eerily expressionless bear costume that looks as though it forgot how to make facial expressions appears on screen. The voice is the same as before, but its tone is harsh and mechanical now.
Case 04, unintended intruder. Entering elimination process.
What is that supposed to mean? Ugh. What's going on?
As soon as the anomaly registers, I feel a bizarre noise that's like something scratching against my whole body. Was that some kind of attack? It didn't seem to have any effect on me, but the girl standing beside me underwent quite a change.
You. Who do you think you are, showing up alone like this?
What?
It's no use trying to talk your way out of it. There's nothing to discuss. You don't even try to understand anyone anyway. If you want to wall yourself off from everyone, I'll be happy to end your lonely life here.
Rude. The girl's face distorts with hatred as she spits her words at me. It's a far cry from her earlier demeanor. It's as if she's a completely different person. That's not all. Understandably, she seemed not to know me before, but now she speaks as if she does. What is this? Could it be the effect of that noise I sensed?
You won't be so smug for long. Come, Konohana Sakuya.
A persona?
The girl spreads the fan in her hand, and with a flash of light, a persona manifests. How careless of me. I should have accounted for this possibility as soon as I saw her here in this world.
We won't be settling this peacefully, I see. In which case...
I ready my invoker and concentrate.
To me, Artemisia.
Power rises from within me, and the sensation in my limbs tells me that my persona has emerged. But my hand holding the invoker is still at my side. My persona, did it just appear without the use of my invoker to trigger it? Did I summon it only by thinking? Theoretically, one doesn't need an invoker to summon one's persona. I didn't have one the day my persona first manifested, and I've done without one several other times as well, but never before have I summoned it so easily without any special concentration. It's as if my consciousness is reaching far beyond the boundaries of my body. By way of analogy, it feels like being able to control the wind with my fingertips. Could it be because this world is special? This girl's voice brings me back to the situation at hand. Which reminds me, the girl doesn't seem to use any special implements to summon either.
A persona user. Fine. I still won't lose.
Sorry, but I won't be defeated either.
Final.
Musical Senpai and her fans are taking the stage! I'm kind of watching! Will this turn into a table?
Domination.
An explosive final round! Victory is theirs!
Once the battle ends, the monitor nearby switches on.
An irregularity has occurred. Multiple intruders detected. Emergency. Intruders are persona users. Due to difficulties in elimination, they will be acknowledged as valid targets.
He obviously referred to myself and the others. Does he mean that he's going to adjust his tactics for dealing with us due to our various strengths? The way he said that seems like a bad omen.
Valid targets.
I understand that we're considered to be intruders, but what did he mean by that? It seems we're part of the tournament now, but what was the enemy's original plan? The monitor screen fuzzes again. Once more, it shows the costume person as he originally appeared.
Geez, you need to let me know if you want to get in on the fun! But this is a unique situation, and you're one hot mama, so I'll make an exception! Just keep putting on a good show in your next bout, too!
Who are you? Why don't you take off that strange costume and show
That's
your
no
face?
costume.
Hey now, I don't think a lady walking around in a cat suit like yours can talk to me about my bear suit!
He has a point.
Question. Move on!
Again, yet another person hang up on my outfit. It's unlike me to let my enemy's words get under my skin. The monitor switches off with those cheeky words.
Is that costume thing the one who stole Labrys? If so, then what's the purpose of this bizarre tournament? Fine. I'll get a read on your location.
I quickly link my communicator and persona. Some personas are more suited to operational support than direct combat. In my case, though, the power is secondary. We normally have a persona user who specializes in that role, but with some specialized equipment, I can get by. I focus my consciousness and send it drifting throughout the surrounding area. The enemy must think he's keeping an eye on us, but he'll learn soon enough that he's not the only one with a bird's eye view of the situation. But before the layout of this place becomes clear, an unexpected change occurs around me. The moment I use my power, noise runs through the students that have been spectating. In an instant, they turn into something like silhouettes that barely have human shapes. It seems their true colors have been exposed. Are they not human?
What? Were they shadows? If they were, I don't sense any hostility from them. Were they just set dressing that thing in the costume prepared?
Apparently, this disturbance isn't so serious that the large crowd that cheering implied was made up entirely of people who entered the TV, which leaves it a mystery, but it may be best to consider it a blessing.
In any case, it appears that apart from this girl here, none of those students were real.
The girl that had collapsed on the floor is coming around. I release my persona and rush over to help her up. I wasn't fighting to my fullest. She shouldn't be suffering from any real wounds. There are many mysteries surrounding this girl. She seems to be more than just an associate of the one in the bear costume. The moment the girl sees me, she jumps back like a startled animal. Her speech is flustered and her face a bright, blushing red. There are tears in her eyes.
How come you knew about that?
About what?
That was private. I never even told anyone at the inn about that. I can't believe someone I've never even met before knew.
The girl covers her reddened face in shame. I try to think back to what I said to her. Did I point out anything that would cause such a reaction? One detail jumps out at me. The girl's manner of speech shifted before our battle. It wasn't just her personality that abruptly changed. Though we had just met, she talked as if she knew more than she should about my past.
That reminds me. That noise I sensed earlier is gone.
Yet the girl before me now no longer bears any of the senseless animosity from before.
Seems to have been some kind of interference from the enemy. Come to think of it, that bear was egging us on. The interference must have been to ensure two total strangers would fight. General Teddy, was it? He looked comical enough, but he certainly put an elaborate scheme in motion.
No! How could Teddy...
She seems to have finally calmed down and continues muttering with a perplexed expression.
You know the one in costume, I take it?
Oh, I know him very well. He's usually not like this at all.
I take the girl's hand and again help her to her feet.
I'm Mitsuru Kirijo. I've come here in search of a unique object. Why don't we start over? If you don't mind, I'd like to hear a little about yourself.
Yes. Oh, my name's Yukiko Amagi. I'm sorry for losing my composure.
Should not be Amagi or Yukiko, but...
So, Amagi, why did you come to this world?
Where to start? So many strange things happened over the last year.
At first glance, she looks like an ordinary student, so why is she here inside the TV? Amagi briefly summarized her recent past to me in an even tone of voice. According to her, this world was a prominent in a serial murder case last year. She and her friends awakened to their personas while investigating the case and eventually solved it. At the case's conclusion, this world formed by people's thoughts returned to its original state. None of this contradicts what I learned from Detective Kurosawa.
A realm inside a TV, formed by people's thoughts. It sounds absurd, but that would explain the incongruity I sensed when I used my persona.
We thought the case had been solved, but lately there's been another strange program on the air. My friends and I couldn't ignore that, so we came back here.
Your friends? Are there others here besides yourself?
Yes, I was with 3 other people, but we got separated when we entered. The one in costume and the girl who called herself Rosette are friends of ours too. But they're acting so strangely.
So this is not the way they generally behave then?
Nope. I can tell from Amagi's reaction that normally she trusts those two implicitly. Considering what the enemy did to her earlier, could they be under its control as well? Either way, sheds no light on the theft of Labrys. How are they related? Or is this incident only a coincidence?
There's one more thing I'm curious about. Have you ever heard the name Labrys?
Labrys? No, I don't think I've ever heard of that before. What is it?
It's the thing I'm searching for. What makes it problematic is that I know nothing of its appearance. Honestly, I'm not sure it has anything to do with this disturbance. Though I can't write it off completely as irrelevant.
So it appears that there is no connection, and whoever went so far as to hijack a plane to steal Labrys brought her all the way here. No matter how I look at it, that means
Anyway,
something.
Thank you for your cooperation. I understand the situation better now.
Can't keep that up.
Stick together going forward.
Without getting dry. Alright, we tried. We tried. General Teddy's back on the TV. What's rule number 2? Refer to rule number 1.
Huh? There's nothing here, but I can feel something. A wall, maybe? Wait, but Mitsuru-san could...
Like I said, you're stuck there until the tournament's over. Only winners get to go.
Only winners. Only you can prevent forest fires. Time to barrel to the next stage.
Thank you, but I'll be all right. I fought shadows for an entire year too. I can protect myself.
I see. In that case, I'll press on and do my best to rescue your friends.
If you see them, please tell them I'm all right and they shouldn't worry about me. You be careful too, Mitsuru-san.
Tell them to worry.
All right, I'll pass that along. Not only do they tamper with our minds, they prevent us from leaving until the tournament is settled. It may not necessarily ruin friendships, but there's no way forward than to fight one another. What a loathsome trick. It seems the mastermind is intent on us fighting each other.
Hey Chewie, how's it going? How you been?
Another dead end.
Another end that's dead. I'm doing all right. Was trying to go through reading all the in between narration text, but too much for me to keep up with.
What was that?
So how you been? It's been a while since we've seen you pop in. You know, that's one thing I would like to.
I'm scared. I'm alone. It hurts. Why? Why won't anyone listen?
I'd love to switch your implements like the last time someone was here, pops into the stream. It's like, hey, it's like a returning visitor.
I didn't ask to be born a machine. How come no one understands? What's the difference between normal people's hearts and mine?
Ah, this pertains to Labrys, who we learned a lot about Labrys this week.
Is that Labrys? Labrys, are you nearby? Answer me.
So we learned a lot about Labrys last week as we went through 3 story arcs.
Going by what she said, that had to have been Labrys.
By process of elimination,
developed further than we thought. I didn't ask to be born a machine. It pains me to hear that.
They were given hearts in order to be able to induce their ability to use personas.
We can't allow victims.
But a
like her
weapon
to
that
be
has a
tormented
heart is a
by the sins of the
contradiction, isn't
past,
it?
whether they're human or not.
Yeah, she got to resolve. Hey, we found a gym. Like, seriously, who stacked chairs like that?
What in the...
Oh yeah, we get to see the commercial advertising what's going on.
They're wearing the same uniforms as Amagi. I assume these are the friends she spoke of.
Oh, so
I had to completely rejigger the bracket to accommodate 3 new contestants. Jeez.
So that's actually a first. Zero just comments on the.
On the other paw, a tournament's more exciting with more people in it.
That's a bit odd.
But getting back on track, allow me to introduce your next opponent.
Huh? There's people besides us here?
You're...
Holy crap, she's smoking hot. The thing she's wearing doesn't hurt either.
Or will hurt him.
Video just now. What was it they called you? Captain Ressentiment?
How come you remember that stupid title and not my real name?
Because the stupid title is more appealing than your real name.
Like this, she already knows about that. God, I wish I was dead.
That can be arranged.
How do you like your opponent?
Why are you making us fight? What
I said it before, and I'll say it again. You can replace the word fight in most fighting games with the word fuck, and it'll still all make sense.
Want you all to suffer. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that fun?
That's what this is about? No. If Labrys is involved, there's more to it, isn't there?
I mean, it ain't that much of a stretch.
Look at your opponent. He's ready, see?
Yeah, Teddy's right. I mean, you're the one who barged in here. Man, who'd come to such a dangerous place without hesitating?
Here,
Really
he
nice,
did.
Queen. I bet you don't have many friends, huh?
Well, that's happening again.
You talk as if you know me.
Stop acting so calm and changing the subject. You seem like you don't know much about this world, so how do you plan to get out? Don't tell me you rushed in here with no escape plan.
The plan was
Man,
to come up with a
seriously?
plan.
You're nuts. People like you who obsess over responsibility and put all the burden on yourselves, you annoy the hell out of me.
It doesn't matter how others perceive me.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Isn't that because you don't trust anyone?
Or at least you get some justification for the personalities.
I was supposedly an unexpected intruder. What's going on?
What are you mumbling about? Well, let me ease your mind. I'll end everything for you. Let's do this, Jiraiya!
Go, Yosuke-senpai! Beat up that shady lady!
Who is she calling a shady lady?
I can see there'll be no talking sense with him like this. There's nothing for it then. Artemisia!
All right. Place the bookmark. How many chapters are in Miss Zero's arc, in case anybody's wondering? 18. So, yeah, we're nearly a third of the way through.
Finals.
Just getting started. Just getting started. You are done.
For you.
Sweet.
It seems they ran out of strength in the finale.
Onward to chapter 6.
Aw, you're so useless, Yosuke-senpai. Unfortunately, the party crasher wins.
The crasher of parties always wins.
You're so strong, miss. I can barely believe how gorgeous and
The
powerful
bear
you are.
puns. The bear
They're not
puns.
provoking us only to have us fight one another. And their method. Is it more like an illusion they're casting over us, rather than some sort of mind control?
Still trying to figure everything out? Switch your brain off and enjoy the Grand Prix already.
Sorry, but I'm not some savage who enjoys the suffering of others.
Yeah, dig it.
Don't call me Miss. My name is Mitsuru Kirijo.
Kirijo?
You've toyed with us, and
Well, that got his attention. His eyes
I'll
changed.
make you pay for what you've done. You better be prepared for that.
Kirijo. You're the one who should be prepared. I'll never let you stop me.
I mentioned my name on purpose. He reacted as strongly to the name Kirijo as I thought he would.
Very strongly. I mean, his eyes totally changed color.
At first, I thought I'd stumbled into an irrelevant side incident, but evidently not. We were meant to come here.
Ow.
Ah, you're awake.
Yeah, he woke after getting his brains beaten in.
My. Amagi reacted the same way. Were the things that the illusory me said that harsh?
Oh, you bet. Wait, what? Illusory? And
Yes.
Did you just say Amagi? You meant Yukiko?
Yeah, we beat the
Yes,
crap out of
well,
Yukiko. That's like 10 minutes
I was forced
ago.
to fight her, quite against my will.
Only the winner can move on, huh? I'm the only one who can feel this invisible wall thing, so I guess it's true.
Totally true.
Glad you understand. I was worried you'd doubt me since I'm a complete stranger.
Well, people are strange
Well,
when
you
they
didn't
are
seem like someone who'd
strangers.
try and trick me. I
Here's
mean,
someone
what's
that
the
would
point?
beat the crap out of
I'm
him.
lost now, so I can't go anywhere.
Indeed. You're very pragmatic.
Oh, he is
Nah,
Captain of
when I went
Resentment.
through last year, I just got used to coming smack up against insane stuff in this world. And Yukiko, my friend you met, she believed in you. So I don't mind trusting you too.
I see. I'd like your opinion on something. What do you think is the objective of this tournament?
The
That
objective
General
is
Teddy
to
said
be
it was all in
objective.
fun, but I doubt it's anything so simple.
I've been wondering the same thing, but I don't know.
Does he know?
It might not just be Teddy behind it. I met this weird girl earlier.
A weird girl?
She was about my age, and she said she was the student council president. It was like she had no idea that she was inside the TV world. That doesn't seem very likely, does it?
No, I doubt one could be unaware of such things. It's possible that she didn't come here of her own will.
This may be a school now, but it doesn't always look like this.
Yeah, it looks a lot worse
When normal
normally.
people who don't have personas come in here, the world changes to reflect what they're thinking of. It happened every time a victim was dumped into a TV last year. Maybe this time she's the victim. Even if she means well, she still could have a lot to do with the tournament.
Girl. What did this girl look like? Did anything about her stand out?
Red eyes.
Huh? No, not really. She wore the same uniform as the rest of us.
Really?
Uniform.
Another unsolved mystery. Quick, get
Thank you.
what was the name of the host of Unsolved Mysteries?
I'm sorry,
Robert
but I
Stack.
can't stay and chat. I should be leaving now.
Oh, wait a sec. Can I ask you a favor? Can you look after my other friends too? It sucks, but I can't get to them from here. That Teddy's really not a bad guy either.
Oh, he's
He
worse.
eats my ice cream without asking and stuff, but he's not the type of guy who'd get off on watching people hurt each other. There's got to be some other explanation.
Yeah, Teddy gets off on other things.
I was already thinking along similar lines. What we saw was an illusion. It may be that they're faced with the same situation. I'll save everyone who's been dragged into this, including your friends and this student council president.
Thanks. Just hurry before someone else dies in here.
Somebody already died in here? I find that hard to believe.
That must sound pretty lame, losing the fight and then making a lot of demands.
Yes.
Not so. Your concern for your friends in a situation like this. C'est magnifique.
What?
I sensed it when speaking to Amagi too, but you all seem to have very strong wills. I promise to do what I can to help.
Oh, the Supreme Court actually did something reasonable.
Is there no end to this?
There is no end to this. Oh, coming into another fight soon, judging by the scenery. Link the communicators with the personas.
Akihiko and Aigis. They both seem to be okay. Can you hear me, Aigis?
Mitsuru-san, I am relieved to finally hear from you. Is Akihiko-san with you?
Nope.
No, we were separated, but I've confirmed his safety. I'm sure he won't be defeated that easily.
Yes, he will.
Let's
I'm
exchange
assuming
information while we can.
I'm assuming one person comes across him sooner or later.
I saw that girl a moment ago, though I lost sight of her when the invisible walls blocked my path.
I've been told she looks more human than you. Is that possible?
Not only that, she was almost indistinguishable from a normal person. I couldn't believe it either.
I totally can.
Yet I definitely sensed a personality module. I don't believe there's any mistake that she is Labrys.
I see. Don't worry about meeting up for now. Under the present conditions, we'd only end up fighting amongst ourselves.
Understood.
I don't know how Labrys ties into this situation yet, but be
With
careful.
a knot. That's how she ties in.
Hello? I lost her.
Ain't there some other way? If there was, then...
It's Labrys's voice.
That's the same voice from before. Labrys, is that you?
Why are you laughing? What about this is funny?
Who is she addressing?
I don't want to fight him anymore!
That reminds me. Hanamura said that the environments here are formed by the thoughts of those who enter this world. Could these be Labrys's innermost thoughts?
It's her
Is
palace.
that why everything about this place radiates her feelings?
Call her Captain Obvious. Confusion, despair. The weight, it's at least 200
She's not
pounds.
addressing anyone. These are her memories. I see. So that's what's going on. I'm finally beginning to see the relationship between this tournament and Labrys.
Yeah, Labrys is getting revenge. You didn't walk that far.
What are you getting so sentimental for? The Grand Prix not over yet!
Then you intend to continue this meaningless farce.
I'll decide what's meaningless or not! Bring out the next challenger!
Who's the next challenger?
You.
He's not a he.
This is a problem. I didn't think we'd run into each other so soon.
How soon?
Illusion? No. I can see that it isn't. Why are you here?
I'll
Plot
answer that
convenience.
question later. It would be best to say as little as possible for now.
Now, what finger did she bring? The Naruto bring to their lips?
Seriously, such impatience handling the grunt work yourself like this. Isn't micromanaging like this the style of an incompetent leader? One who can't see the bigger picture?
True.
The silent treatment, huh? That's fine. I understand perfectly.
Does they really?
You don't believe in people. Not a single one. You have friends and allies, but believing in them is a different thing. I suspect you'll never break down that wall. Shall I say it for you? You're actually scared to. The notion of growing attached to something and losing it scares you so much that you'll share nothing truly important to you.
How about
Even
she
if you want
shares
to
her
believe in
boot
your
up your
friends,
ass?
You can't.
That's not true.
Of course it is. Why not simply admit it? In truth, you have your hands full just expiating your family's sins. You don't need the added burden of others placing their lives in your hands. Isn't that how you really feel?
No. There's no use continuing this. Not until I eliminate this irritating mirage.
All right, time to throw down.
Finally.
Artemisia! What an amazing first strike! What? Blast it away! You're a... No! You wanna stay! A tremendous goal already! Can't wait! This won't be that easy! I won't hold back! The opponent's still standing! This is a key job.
Beautiful.
They overwhelmed the opponent in the end.
Nice. It goes from at least it advances forward.
Am I getting through to you now?
Yes. The same goes for me, I presume.
Yeah.
It seems we were spellbound until the fight began, as we both suspected. They disrupted our communications to drive a wedge between us and make us fight. Though it's a mystery to me as to where it draws such personal slights for the illusions before us. I agree.
Yeah, but it's not a he, is it?
There's no need to be cagey. I don't intend to dodge whatever questions you have.
Like
You
he
were
didn't
probably
dodge my
wondering 3 things when you
blows.
saw me here. First, how did I enter this world? Second, what am I doing in Inaba?
And third,
And third, if I came here looking for you, what are my true intentions?
yes. Answer
I
those
wonder
answers,
you'd make a name
please.
for yourself as a detective. You're correct on all counts.
The first answer is easy. You know now that I can use a persona, allowing me access to the TV world. As for the second, there's no great mystery why I would come to Inaba. I live here.
You
But
were
why
married
do you
to the
live
principal
here?
of The Magi and Hanamura.
You've met my senpai?
Which
We're
one?
friends. I gather that you're comrades who fought alongside each other during the serial murder case last year. I assume you entered the TV together for the same reason they did, and found yourself dragged into this mess as well.
That's definitely true.
If so, I must apologize to you. No doubt you already know, but the object we seek has been brought to this world. It's most likely the cause of this disturbance. Whoever learned of this world's existence must have thought it would be useful in whatever they're scheming.
You apologizing to me? Are you so sure you can trust me? You have no guarantee that I'm telling the truth. And there's still the answer to your third question to consider. I haven't yet told you my true motives.
What are
Fair
they?
enough. But if you're friends with Amagi and Hanamura, I feel I can trust you. Their bonds with their friends are real.
Perhaps I lied about that too.
Perhaps.
But then why would you bring it up? No, you're no villain. That's what my intuition tells me.
And thus, the
You aren't at all the person I thought you'd be.
Natsu's quest to be a villain has been undermined. And the Phillies and Rangers are getting underway.
The Teddy who appeared on that monitor is not our friend. He's an imposter.
He's a posture imp?
Purpose? I found the real Teddy. Our enemy can fog both our eyes and ears. It's possible they can make themselves look like someone else.
I see.
But I still don't know why they chose to take on Teddy's appearance.
It might be to make you
Why not?
suffer. If they led you to believe your friend betrayed you, it would make this all the more painful.
Hey, that's a
There's some
point.
truth to that, but it seems too simple a motive to warrant this elaborate of a disturbance.
You know, it's, maybe something works.
This feeling. Rise-san! Rise-san, can you hear me?
Really?
So you ended up here too.
Ah, yes, Rise.
I'm so glad. Ever since this weird fake Teddy kidnapped me, I've been all alone. The others are fighting each other too.
They're fighting each other
It's all right.
to the
Just calm
death.
down and tell me where you are.
She's in the school, clearly.
I think it's the announcement room. It's kind of off, though. There are these invisible walls around, and I can't get out. The fake Teddy was watching me until a moment ago, so I couldn't use my persona.
You're in the announcement room now, yes? I'm headed straight there, so stay put.
Huh? Who's that? Why can I hear your voice but not sense you?
Extremely confused.
Mitsuru Kirijo. Wait, Kirijo? Are you that Kirijo?
Yeah, she is.
Yes, that's correct.
The CEO?
The OEC.
Not quite. I am the founding family's...
You hired me for a commercial before. Oh, good. Thank you very much for your patronage.
Huh.
A commercial?
Oh, yes. I'm Rise Kuchikawa.
Who?
I'm a classmate of the others you met, but I'm also kind of a starlet, and, it's hard to explain.
This is not relevant to the plot, we say.
Rise-san, that can wait. There's
Thank
no
you,
knowing when
Naruto.
our adversary will return.
Oh, all right.
Kujikawa said that she was captured, but why would they treat her differently?
I suspect it was to block communication. If we could speak freely as we just did, their whole scheme would collapse.
Yes, it would.
So that's why Teddy and Rise-san were the hosts.
What do you mean?
The real Teddy has a similar power. That's why those two were taken separately. Not only that, but by acting as the two who had disappeared, the enemy thought it could portray them as traitors. Though it appears that Teddy managed to escape on his own somehow.
How come I'm the only one fake Teddy is watching over personally? Sheesh.
I don't know. Have you looked in the mirror?
You have the most powerful investigative persona. They must have had to take greater pains with you.
I think we're keeping this going too long. We've exchanged what we know already, so I'm gonna shut down the comms link. Be careful, you guys.
At least that's a tactical decision.
We are responsible for this case. Rescuing the ones who've been dragged into it is part of our mission. Besides, she's another of your friends, isn't she? All the more reason for me to go save her.
You're quite prepared for this. It would be unfair of me not to tell you everything.
Tell her
Please hear me
everything.
out. The reason I came here was to...
Kick ass and take names.
You're a real straight arrow. You're very proud to be a detective, no? I can see it in your eyes. You would never sell out your beloved justice.
It's all about justice,
You've
isn't
done
it?
nothing to be ashamed of. That makes us even. I haven't been entirely forthright with you either.
Kirijo-san. It seems I still have much to learn.
But Kirijo apparently isn't quite observant or realizing that Nato is not a dude.
Well then, I will once again entrust my friend's safety and the resolution of this case to you. In honor of the bond we are forming, Mitsuru Kirijo.
I promise that I will not let you down.
Back to the third floor.
Are you Kirijo-san? Kirijo?
Yeah, that got Labrys's attention.
Hang tight, Miss President. We'll be okay now that help's arrived. Kirijo-san, this girl got dragged into this mess too. We have to help her before that general comes back.
So you're Kujikawa. Sorry, but I'll need you to step back.
Take a step back. Way back.
Astounding. You really do look human. But you're not, are you, Labrys?
Huh? What do you mean she's not human? Isn't she a victim who got dropped inside the TV?
More or less.
Labrys, our records show that you were loaded with special equipment. Undoubtedly a function that affects thoughts and scrambles recognition. That's why we saw and heard illusions whenever we fought. It would also explain General Teddy's appearance, and those who met you believing you to be human.
Special equipment? Labrys? What are you talking about?
We're talking about things relevant to the plot.
I'm sure the reason why you captured 2 people with analytical personas wasn't just to keep them from interfering with your designs. I came to a realization when I noticed I was the only one who sensed that noise. An analytical persona's searches clash with your ability. They dispel illusions, so you needed to confine them. You feared that if they caught you off guard and used their persona's ability, this would happen.
Boy, she jumping to conclusions here.
No! What's going on? This can't be.
It is.
What was your motive, Labrys? Was it revenge in the end? I can understand why you'd hold a grudge. I caught glimpses of it on my way here.
So many glimpses.
But your hatred should be centered on the Kirijo group. Why drag innocent students into your vendetta?
Kirijo group? No. I don't want to remember. Never again. Miss President.
She's not the president.
She seems to be in a lot of pain. I don't know exactly what's going on here, but you can't push her any further.
She's being pushed.
Miss President?
Get back! Hurry!
Well, clearly she's been pushed.
The injunction against harming humans has been removed? I see. No wonder she was sealed away.
Is there no other choice but to fight?
It's a fighting game, so there is no choice.
Any more damage, Labrys? It's me you want.
Shut up! Shut up! I ain't like that!
But you're wielding a big axe?
Finally!
Artemisia! Artemisia! What? You have time to go? Time is now!
There we go. Well, at least we're getting some displays here.
I don't intend to turn a blind eye to the sins committed against you. That is why I must bring you back.
Bring her back from the brink. She's been locked away for 13 years.
It'd make more sense for this to be a plan devised by Labrys, rather than an unknown party suddenly stealing her away.
Ah, Miss Shiro, this is why you're not an investigator.
Such a small artificial body could hold. A tragic mastermind, huh?
Huh? Mastermind?
Mind of
You got
Masters.
it wrong, Kirijo-san. That girl's not.
What?
Turn around from surprise.
Looks like you've saved me some time while I was out running errands.
You're...
It's Teddy.
What's going on? This is Labrys's interference pattern.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
That's right.
As thanks for cornering the real one, I'll show you something.
Dramatic evilness reveals are dramatically evil. You know, from that, trust me, if that didn't attach, it would look like she had a huge. Gotta love quality anime sequences when you get to see them.
Another Labrys? Why are there two of her?
That was the original cliffhanger, but we could just easily push forward.
Shadow.
I'm taking the real one with me. I'll never let you catch me.
What is she? You seem to know.
The shadow of herself.
First, tell me something. Why was she in so much pain? What's all this about Labrys and weapons?
They talk more about weapons and Labrys.
It's not for civilian ears.
Then I won't tell you anything about her. If you want to know what I know, you have to tell me what you know first.
Yeah, she knows more than you.
Well, I suppose you're involved now.
She was involved from the
All right.
beginning,
Her
obviously.
official name is 5th Generation Anti-Shadow Suppression Weapon, codenamed Labrys. She is an android weapon created by the Kirijo Group years ago. In order to use persona abilities, she was given a heart. We couldn't let her run free. Just look at the trouble she's caused. We came to retrieve her and minimize any damages.
Well, she didn't cause that much damage.
So when she said she didn't want to remember, that's what that was about. Hey, why didn't you listen to what she was trying to say? She said that she didn't want to remember, but you kept pushing your demands on her and making her feel bad.
Making her feel terrible.
You gave her a heart because you needed her to have one, and then kept treating her like that. No wonder she's in pain.
Why are you siding with Labrys so much?
Because Labrys is the innocent
Voice a
one.
few times. It sounded like it was from her past. She said she was forced to fight when she didn't want to, that she was hurt and afraid.
Someone to believe in, huh?
She's Miss President's shadow.
Kujikawa.
The repressed desires you don't want to admit, here, they take on a life of their own.
So that's why. Then what's her ultimate goal? Why did she take Labrys?
Shadows. They try to become real. It confronts the original with weaknesses to make them deny that the shadow's part of them. Also, it can take their place.
Yeah, but it's something that's used a lot in a number of fan fiction stories based around the Persona franchise.
Until the original person accepts it.
Kujikawa, let me amend my earlier statement. I didn't come here just to minimize the damage. I came to save everyone. Will you trust me on that?
I don't think...
Make sure you listen to what Labrys wants to say this time, okay?
I fully intend to.
Like, he intends to. Again. Even as like, okay, we did the first hour of reading everything, but...
important. Thank you for that.
Talking about each story arc takes up roughly about 3 hours if kept at the normal pace.
It must be that smile of yours that catches your audience's heartstrings.
Promise me then. Make sure you come back with her.
Running down the hallways.
Who are you?
Welcome to the music room.
It seems we're locked in. The rule against proceeding without fighting is still in effect.
Are you Kirijo-san by any chance? Rise got in touch with me.
Well, yes, she is.
Kirijo. As I recall, you were the sister no, your name was Narukami.
He has a sister
Anything
complex.
scrambling our senses. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Rise told me you were out to save Miss President. Labrys, her name was?
That's right. But
Funny enough, that Persona 3 does not exactly have a protagonist that survives. The protagonist of that game gets killed off, from what I understand.
I don't want to drag you into this any further.
I understand, but I can't do it like that. If the rules are still in effect, my friends are still trapped. They still need someone to rescue them. I fought battles I didn't want and taken on a lot of responsibilities, which includes saving Labrys, of course. It's not that I don't believe you, but I don't think it's right to simply hand the burden over to someone I just met.
I see.
Yes, kick his ass and take the burden
this must
from
be
him.
Frustrating to you.
No, don't misunderstand me. I have no objections. I admire your willingness. With the final battle awaiting ahead, perhaps it's best that the stronger of us two should be the one to proceed. I like the look in your eyes. I will test your resolve with my sword.
Yeah. It was funny. Only Persona 4 and 5 in terms of the games that's finally getting brought on all platforms have protagonists and lead characters that survive. Persona 3 doesn't. I'm not sure about Personas 1 and 2, but...
Finally! Fight!
Kneel before me! You have time to... No!
I'll show you man's potential!
You have time up! I misjudged.
Whoops. Well, that went wrong.
You have time to block?
Sorry, guys.
Funny enough, I actually was going for the instant kill move. Pulled it off, but the timing was bad.
I've won. I will move on.
Yeah, we won the match. I was trying to do it in a flashy manner.
You said that you want to save Labrys too, but you barely know her. She isn't human and has been through things that aren't easy to understand. What were you going to do for her when you found her?
Nothing in particular. But I could have stood at her side at the very least.
Yeah, there you go.
Side.
Have her back like a butt crack.
You really do remind me of an old friend.
A friend that she later killed.
Yes. Though he's more than just a friend. I owe my life to him. Well then.
The music changes.
To save Labrys.
Onward.
Kujikawa, can you hear me? The Shadow is headed to the announcement room again.
I've already picked up on her and got out.
Good.
Also, I've managed to reach your friends. I was just talking to someone named Aegis.
Aegis, can you hear me?
You're very
I need you to keep
talented.
Kujikawa safe.
All right.
Understood.
So my question is regarding Persona 3. Is the protagonist of it really that much of a blank slate?
My. You've come. Sorry, but you're too late. You really helped me out, though. You were pretty hard on this girl, weren't you?
I...
Look me. We had a guest. This human's here to take us back. She'll never understand how we feel. A typical human.
So typical.
Don't say anymore!
Labrys.
Ooh. That looks like it'd be a good one.
Of course. It would be a problem if she were destroyed while you were retrieving her, huh?
Retrieve? No! This has got nothing to do with me!
How long are you gonna lie to yourself? It's about time you face reality.
Subtle differences in tones.
To experience what you had to go through. Right? That's why we're in a school having a fighting tournament. You want to see close friends fight for their lives against each other. Because if they do that, then they might understand. You want to make them understand.
Yeah. It's really the strength of the male voice on the Shadows dialogue that really makes it stand out. Something else is at work here. Granted, we discovered that last week, but still.
It's alright though. You don't have to worry about that anymore. I'll take care of everything from here. I'll destroy anyone who doesn't understand you and comes to get in your way. Just like you once did.
No! No! That ain't what I want! You're not me!
That's right! I'm myself! I'm free! Even if I'm a misunderstood machine. I'll escape from all this!
The power. That's a lot of power. Arr, arr, arr.
It's gone berserk. But there should still be time. I'll make you settle down.
Just simmer down.
What's with you, you hypocrite? The way you've been acting pisses me off. How can you be so kind to her? No matter what you do, it won't erase your sins. Fine. Since you're a Kirijo, why not tell you exactly what your family did to me? What they made me do? Remember those spectating students? What did you think those human-shaped silhouettes were?
Huh?
Those were shadows, too. Shadows of the prototypes you made her destroy.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Their information was transferred to the victor. What's left of their hearts remains deep inside Labrys. That's right. They all have a soul. But because they never fully developed, their shadows helped her play school after they separated from her. Do you see? Those spectators you saw everywhere were her sisters she had to kill at the Kirijo group's orders.
That's actually a very cool way of interpreting the events.
I haven't forgotten. I'll never let their memories or their pain go. I won't forgive anyone who tries to take my freedom.
Freedom!
I acknowledge your anger and grief. Setting things right here is my way of atoning. This fight will release you from your curse once and for all.
Will it really? That's a big assumption there.
Final.
I was trying to set up for the insta kill move there, but I need to take some damage. But oh well.
Am I gonna be alone again?
Nope.
What am I saying? Of course I am. After all I've done.
You are blameless.
No. No one will lock you away ever again.
Huh?
I thought I had a firm grasp on things, but in the end, all I did was drive you into a corner.
And nobody puts Labrys in the corner.
Why is a Kirijo apologizing to a machine? I mean, I hurt people. Dragged them into my own mess. I'm just like I was before. There ain't no reason to forgive me.
That is solely your opinion.
Huh?
Kujikawa, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Is that Rise-san?
It is.
That's right. You've met her too, and...
To tell the truth, I only saw you for a second, so I ain't really sure what's going on. But it seemed like you went through a lot. Anyway, hope things start looking up.
That's way too simple. Can't you think of anything better to say?
Hey, it ain't simple at all. I know damn well how tough it is to see a shadow come out of yourself.
Yeah, we've all been through the same thing, so we'd suck pretty bad if we didn't forgive you.
Oh yeah.
You caused me a lot of trouble, but it it was still kind of fun.
Kinda. Nice little plot development here.
That wasn't the whole picture, right? That's just how our hearts are.
I concur. None of us can cast stones after you've gone through the hardship of facing your shadow.
That aside, I'm just glad you're okay. I was worried about you. I left you alone knowing you couldn't use a persona.
Labrys, when you come back, we should talk.
Should we?
Senpai's right. And not just us.
Sister, can you hear me? I too would like to talk with you. There's something I'd like to tell you. You may know it already, but still.
And on that day, her heart grew 3 sizes. Her chest Cassie then broke.
Why?
You are a machine, unlike us. That is undeniably true. There will be days to come when you are tormented by solitude and caged by your own weakness. But one thing will be very different. Starting today, you are not alone.
It's like a nice little plot development here.
Companionship is the greatest guide. In my mission here, I've come to be reminded of that. We hope to become that guide for you as well. If you're not alone, you can stand to face the most painful of truths.
Face the truth.
What about the truth to face?
I see. I get it now.
Does she get it now? And there's this scene.
I'm sorry I ignored you all this time. I was the one who left you all alone. No. You are me, after all.
Oh, isn't that sweet?
This is my persona.
Which persona is it, however? Onward!
Labrys and Kirijo-san!
Welcome back, you guys.
Whoa! You really are a robot! Hey, can I touch you?
Yes, touch her.
That's a bit impolite. It's hard enough restraining myself already.
You said restrain yourself.
There's an inside joke there, which I'm curious about.
I'm sorry I caused you guys trouble.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about that. That Grand Prix was you, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't a half bad idea. Fighting to see who's the strongest man was awesome!
What?
Kanji's right, but you should have invited me too.
Sorry?
Yeah.
I won't forgive you until until you say, I really
Kill him.
you big
Kill him.
all sexy like that.
Kill him now.
Guys, stop making it even worse. Sorry we're starting off like this.
In any case, I'm really glad you're all right.
I got you to thank for that.
Great job, Mitsuru. And man, talk about a rowdy bunch of students.
Still, they are kind. Is something the matter?
I'm not good at relying on others.
Phillies and Rangers tied 0-0 after
That I
2
don't even
innings.
think of trusting others with them. I've been told it before, but it never gets easy.
Why not think of things more simply?
Hmm.
When something cannot be accomplished alone, there is no other choice but to trust in others to help. Good or bad, it is inevitable. Then why not accept it and move forward?
That's a good
You
point.
aren't alone either, after all.
You're right. It's not difficult at all when put that way.
Nope.
It's just as I was saying about companionship being a guide.
She's thankful for for her friends' perspectives. So who's the real mastermind?
Was Labrys truly the mastermind here?
Clearly not.
Huh? What are you getting at?
Why did Labrys choose them? Where did Labrys learn of them?
Somebody had to
Even
know
we
about
don't know
them.
About them or about this world inside the TV. How did Labrys discover all this?
Yeah, I can't explain it either.
It's unexplainable. More questions rise.
Well, the fastest way to find out is to just ask her. Hey, Labrys!
Akihiko.
Eh, don't be subtle about it.
When did you wake up? How did you find out about the TV world?
It's a good
About-
question.
This place?
Labrys!
Get back!
Take 2 steps back.
Is she malfunctioning? No! Someone's hijacked her!
You mean she means you mean she's been low jacked?
I know you're there. Who are you? Show yourself. Show myself? How cold. You treat me as if I were a stranger.
That voice!
No way. Kirijo-san's shadow?
Do you not recognize your own face? I am you.
You are Tai.
You seem to have a penchant for deception. Unfortunately, I already know that you're the mastermind here. You were after Persona users from the start. That's why you chose this school and tampered with Labrys' memories. And you just demonstrated how you controlled those hijackers. Very good. No wonder you managed to drive back a god once.
Yeah, we eat gods for breakfast around here.
Yes. I want them even more now.
You want them? Explain yourself.
Personas and shadows are one and the same. If I poison your hearts, I can recruit shadows with unparalleled strength.
Good point.
What? You mean turn our personas back to shadows?
The heart is frail.